Hey, Nomad coming at you from my home studio once again. I am so glad you downloaded Rockstar Audition Hacks. Woohoo! Why? Because I know that these 3 proven steps to landing your dream gig are legit because I've used them before. Like I said, I've had a career for over 3 decades so far and I'm still going, and I'm very excited to be sharing this with you now because I'm going to be honest, if I had this when I was just starting out, mind blown. I don't even know. Like, I could be even further ahead than I am or accomplish more things. I don't know, but it would have been really helpful and a lot easier to have the guidance and these logical steps laid out for me before I just started digging into it. Nothing wrong with that, and that is the best way to learn in so many cases. But when you have a mentor, somebody who can map some things out for you, help get you on the fast track, obviously that's a bonus. So here we go. Do not be overwhelmed by this guide. I do want to say that I put in a bunch of pictures because I wanted to show you that I've done this. I've been there, and if I've done it, so can you. Look, I'm just a regular person from Long Island, New York, or as we say, Strong Island, New York. I moved around a bunch. That's why I go by Nomad. My father's from Cuba. My mom's Italian. I'm just a regular Joe Schmo, if you will. So if I can do it, anybody can. That's why all the pictures exist, and that is me on stage somewhere in Vegas. It might be the Mirage, and I'm playing a really cool Paul Reed Smith hollow body guitar. 3 proven steps to landing your dream gig by me, the career musician. Let's get into it. We're going to teach you how to get on the list, okay? Because every audition has a call list of people, how to get into those rooms where those auditions are happening, and how to get called back, because oftentimes they'll do the auditions in phases. So they'll do phase 1 with a bunch of people. Phase 2, they whittle it down. Phase 3, they might whittle it down even more. So those are callbacks. And then finally, how to get the gig. There you have it. Moving on to page 2, how this guide will help you. Look, it's true. The gig economy is booming again. That pandemic really set us back, but thank goodness it's behind us now and gigs are back. So a big misnomer is that people think, I'm talented enough, I can play like crazy, drums, keys, guitar, sing, bass, whatever your primary instrument, maybe a horn or stringed instrument, and that's it. That should be enough. I could just show up and I should automatically get it. You don't really get gigs on talent alone. It takes a lot of other things, which we break down in the table of contents. The intro from me, how to prep yourself like a pro, is step 1. Because if you're not prepared, then you're going to run into some issues. I think it was Benjamin Franklin said, failing to plan is planning to fail, right? So we have to have a plan. We have to prepare ourselves. Success is where preparation and opportunity meet. Basically, when we talked about failing to plan is planning to fail, this is what I mean by that. You have to prepare, you have to plan, and then that way when opportunities do come and knocking, you're ready to go. And then you don't have to worry, oh shoot, but I didn't practice this, I didn't get my sounds, I didn't make sure my gear was maintained, I didn't do this, I didn't get the right look and the right clothes, etc. You're already prepared. So when that opportunity comes, step number 2, master the clock and communication. When I say master the clock, I'm talking about time. Okay, the old adage in showbiz is on time is late, early is on time. You got to be early for everything. You need to get acclimated and get yourself situated. You never know what could come up last minute. And then of course communication is the second part of that, and that's just being able to talk to people. Don't ghost people. Always reply to messages, and of course have a great interactive social presence about yourself. Now, step 3, it seems like common sense, but it really involves more than you might think. Know your gear, own your sound. When I say know your gear, if you play drums and you have a 6-piece kit, right? Know how to tune it, know how to get the best sounds, know what heads work, know what type of genres sound best on your drum kit, know what type of cymbals do different things, so forth. If you're a keyboard player, really understand all your patches, all your plugins, and know how to get the best sound on the fly. That's so important, right? Guitar players, bass players, horn players, string players, it doesn't matter. Vocalists, you can even know your instrument as a vocalist. Know your range. Know which keys are best for you to sing in, right? So that's really understanding and knowing your gear. And then that's how you own your sound. That means, yeah, definitely get inspiration from other sources, but create kind of your own sound because you are a unique individual. Therefore, you have a unique sound. And then we're going to talk about common audition pitfalls. So these are the things to watch out for. These are things that I've actually, did wrong. As music director, I've hosted countless auditions, both for the artists I played with, as well as for artists who hire me to assemble their touring bands. And after doing this for hundreds of auditions, I've learned so many things from some of the mistakes that I've witnessed and that I've actually been guilty of. Not reading the room. And this is intangible because it's not like you can put your finger on it. You just got to have a good sense of how to read the room with people. There's a time and place for everything. Have you heard that? That's really important. So be sure you take stock of what's happening and try to match the vibe. Show up early and tune into the energy. Again, I love to show up super early. If I'm going to an audition, I get there way ahead of time to make sure that I can get acclimated to the environment. If something happens on the freeway on my way there, I get a flat tire, I get pulled over, whatever. You might be starving when you get there and you're like, shoot, my nerves are shaking so much, I got to eat something. Make sure you have a snack. If you don't, you can go grab one. You know what I mean? So to be early really is super important. Trying to impress instead of serving the song and the situation. That's so important. I always say you don't want to lead with your super chops. I've seen some incredible musicians online on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and they're just doing all this flashy stuff. But when you're auditioning to be in these bands for big artists, that's not really what they're looking for. Unless they say, hey, now go for it. I want you to shred, take a solo. Then you better be able to shred, step up. Play your role, lock into the groove. It's all about the groove. Think about a gig like Dua Lipa or SZA or Bruno or a million other bands that we might not have even ever heard of that have those grooves. And same thing with rock. You can think of the Foo Fighters. You got to lock into that groove. In every genre of music, there's a groove. Even in classical music, there's a groove, and it's usually being dictated by the conductor, right? So you got to lock in. Common pitfalls. Number 3, letting your nerves win. That's me right there on the left. People always ask me, how do you get over your nerves? Definitely over the years, it has been a journey, right? Maybe I was even more nervous in the beginning. Then as I got more and more experience, I became less and less nervous. A lot of times I would do breathing exercises, jumping jacks. Make sure you exercise when you're on the road to get out all that energy. Even before the show, do some exercises, do some body weight squats, do some push-ups, do some breathing exercises in the dressing room, in the green room. Also, a lot of times, I'm not gonna lie, with the band, it'd be nice to take a little shot of something. If you're of age, it cools the nerves. You're like, okay, or a little glass of wine. You're like, okay, I feel better now. And if you don't do that, it's okay too. But there are a lot of ways to overcome your nerves, and you have to find the ones that work for you. Another fix to that is to practice also to the point of muscle memory. Your dream is within reach. You can nail the audition and get the gig. Remember this, if you can conceive it in your mind's eye, picture it, all right? Picture yourself up there on stage with the people whom you want to play with, and then you have to believe it. You have to yes, I can do that. I could see myself doing that, right? And really get detailed in your mind's eye, then you can achieve it. So you have to conceive it. You have to know where you want to go. Oh, I want to play with such and such. I want to do this. I want to do that. So that's the conceiving part. Believe it. Picture yourself and really believe you can do that. And then you can achieve it. I know when I was 16, sitting in a bedroom similar to this in my house in South Florida at the time, I was like, how am I going to get to go on tour and travel the world? But now I've done it. I've been there, done that, as they say. And man, it does seem like time just flies by. So, okay, moving right along, each step is separated into 3 parts. So you'll have key practices, best practices that I recommend, audition hack. So this is like a little bonus, if you will. Oh, by the way, don't forget to have this ready. And then the third thing would be the pitfalls to avoid. So these are mistakes that I've made that you could possibly learn from. In this example, in step 1, I had a situation where Donnie Osmond and Babyface both separately on separate auditions. They didn't know anything about this, but they were both like, yo, you better dance or else. And they didn't mean like full on dance. They just meant like some light choreography with the guitar. So, on stage, you've seen Bruno Mars and his band do it, right? And it's, whoa, I never thought about that until somebody brought it to my attention. Like, okay, that's legit. So that's how everything is going to be laid out in those 3 sections for each step. By the way, I want to go back to this. This is Ricky Minor, famous music director out here here in Los Angeles for the Tonight Show, American Idol, the Grammys, the Oscars, the Emmys, the Super Bowl. If you can imagine it, he's MD'd it. And he's put bands together for everybody. He initially started back in the late 80s with Whitney Houston, which is really cool. And he and I have become friends over the years. He's also featured in the podcast. So go ahead and check him out in the Career Musician Podcast, episode number... Okay, step 3, when I said know your gear and own your sound, preparation isn't flashy, it's fundamental. By the way, this is on set of the Conan O'Brien show, his talk show several years back, and I just got some cool shots. A lot of these pictures are grainy because we're in these buildings, the lighting isn't great to take the pictures, and I whip out my phone real quick. I'm like, you don't want to be broadcasting that you're taking pictures of everything. That was the pedal board that I had used for this show. That's me on stage, on my stage mark, warming up. This is the green room rig that Conan has in the green room where you hang out before you go on the show. You're waiting around. Right here behind the camera, there's a bunch of pastries, snacks and stuff, but he's got a killer rig, as you can see. He loves to play, and of course his guests are welcome to play. This is the house band stage area, so this was really cool. Once again, you have your key practices. This one, every gig in the bag, so important. All the things that you have to pack as a scout bag, just in case bag. The audition checklist, this is so important. I love to go down this. I keep it in my phone. I keep a digital copy in my phone on the little notes app and just check them off as I go. Confirm the audition date, time, and location. Map out the GPS directions and traffic planning. Here in LA, traffic is crazy. Do an online or in real life preview survey of the audition location. If you're going to a place that you've never been before, it might be cool to go there on a day that the audition isn't happening. Just to scope it out, see where the parking is, see how long it took you to get there, see what the load in, load out situation is like. And that leads us to the next one. Confirm parking and load in and load out. Prepare and practice until it's muscle memory. Practice the parts as many times and as much as you can. Read the room, bring good energy, no matter what, always be positive. Remember your homework and riffs, solos, right? So create a couple jam grooves that you know, man, this is my favorite jam. I could do this for days. Or I have 2 or 3 solo pieces prepared. I know I can shred in the key of E minor like crazy, or I know I can play on this type of a groove and do some really flashy things on the drums, whatever it is. Dress for success and the vibe of the artist. Clearly, a Foo Fighters gig is going to have a different wardrobe than a Bruno Mars gig or than a Taylor Swift gig. You know what I mean? Get the vibe of the artist and match their vibe. And don't forget to be yourself. Have fun. Be your own self. You are a unique individual and you have personality, so don't be afraid to let it shine. And then finally, this is the most important thing, perhaps the number one thing that I don't want you to forget about nailing the audition and getting the gig. Book something fun for yourself to look forward to after the audition. For example, if the audition's on a Thursday and you know you're going to be nervous, have something Friday, Saturday planned that you can look forward to that kind of deflects your attention from just the audition. So you're like, yeah, I know I have the audition Thursday, but once I get through that, I'm going to go hiking with my friends on Friday to this dope place or schedule a little day trip or a trip to the mall, go on a shopping spree. You know, whether I get the audition or not, I'm going to go treat myself to $200 worth of clothes, whatever it is. But give yourself something to look forward to. It really helps. It helps you see past the audition date. It helps you realize, helps your subconscious mind realize, oh, my life isn't only about this one audition. I have a life after that. Trust me, this works. And a little bit about me finally. You can look me up on nomadsplace.com. It has all my career credits. You can look me up on IMDb. You can look me up all over the interwebs. My first name is Michael. My birth name is Rapoll. So Michael Rapoll, that's Ripoll. But I went by Nomad because I have traversed this beautiful globe of ours, spreading joy through music one song at a time. I will see you out there on tour, my friends. So glad you downloaded the Rockstar Hacks. And stay tuned for more from the Career Musician. Don't forget to check out the podcast with almost 200 episodes of killer information from some of the best and biggest names in the biz, helping us all to succeed.